Yo, what is up everybody? This is Jason with devslopes.com, and in this video we're going to cover some developer tools that are really going to help you when you're designing web pages and web applications. All right, and what this tool is, it's an inspector tool that helps you see a little under the hood of what's going on with your HTML and CSS in the browser. So let's go ahead. We've got our project opened here. Go ahead and launch it. And the first browser we're going to cover is the inspector tools for Chrome. All right, so we've got our project here, and what I want you to do is I want you to right click and then come down to the bottom and click this tab Inspect. All right, and what that brings is this inspector tool right here in the bottom. All right, so let me show you how to use this. So what this is you can see as I highlight these different levels, it's targeting different sections of my website. So you can see that we've got the head here, and then once I come into the body, we see that the whole page highlights. And then if I come down one more, you can see this is the container that we created. So I'm going to actually go ahead and click on this, and then you've got these little arrows here. You can expand the content to see what's inside of here. So you can see that I've got this div class, and we added our container class to this, remember. And for the container, we actually removed the styling. So if you come over here to the right side, this section over here under styles is going to show you all the CSS rules that you have on your elements. So you can see that the container is empty because we commented that out. But then you'll also see that we have a div tag here with a display of block. So by nature, CSS puts a display of block on div tags. Okay, and you can see that a div tag with this display, it covers the entire viewport of our browser. All right, so let's come down a little deeper and let's go into the header 1 tag. You can see up top here that it's highlighting it, and you can see that we've got the header 1 tag selected. The blue is directly around the text, and then we've got this orange around it, which actually indicates margin. And let's come over here to the right side into the styles. So we can see that our header 1 tag, we can see the style rules that we put on here. We put a color of white and that text shadow on there. And it's got these check boxes next to it. And you can see in the browser as I check and uncheck these, how it will remove the style and add it back on as I check. All right. And then you can see that the header 1 element by nature has a display of block. It's got a font size to it. And then check this out. It has a margin added to the top and bottom. All right, and then a font weight of bold. And then right down here at the bottom, this actually shows you the dimensions of your element. So we can see here the size of the text. The display of block expands the entire viewport by a 1904, and then my header 1 text is actually 37 pixels tall. And then we don't have any padding, which you can see this highlight screen. The borders are kind of a light orange yellow, and then the margin is orange. And you can see that it has a margin of 21.44. So that is header 1 tags, default style properties, style rules. And then if we come into the header 2, we can come here, we can see the specific style rules we added to this with the color and text shadow. And then again, it has default properties of display. Font size is a little bit smaller. The margins are a little bit smaller. And again, we have the actual dimensions down here at the very, very bottom. It shows the dimensions of our element. So let's learn how to use this a little more. So over here in the far left corner, we've got this selector tool. And when we click that, you can see that we can hover around our page, and it's going to select elements. So for an example, I stop here on the image and I can go ahead and click it, and it kind of like drops a pin, and automatically right here in the element inspector, it highlights my image. We can see the source, the PNG file that it's grabbing, and the class that we added to it. And then over here on the styles on the right, you can see our class with the border. And remember how we did a border of 10 pixels dashed red? Well, check this out. We can expand this, and it gives us detail colors that, because we use the shorthand border, look, it actually used the properties border top right color, border top style, the width, the right color, right style, right width. And so just by using this shorthand here, it kind of compiles, and this is the actual list of all the default styles that it added for us. So that's pretty cool. Now, the other thing we can do is we can actually take this web page that we've created, and if we click on this right here, toggle device toolbar, this is going to put this web page in a mobile view. This page that we've built here isn't set up for mobile, so why don't you go ahead, open up a new tab, and just go to devslopes.com. All right, and then in here, let's go ahead and right click, and we're going to hit inspect. And then let's go ahead and click on this toggle right here for the devices. Let me get rid of this pop-up. Go ahead and click that. And let's do this. Up here at the top, you've got this drop-down menu, and it has a bunch of different phones in it. So let's go ahead and select the iPhone 6 Plus. All right, I'm going to move this down just a little bit so we can increase the size. Let's see, let's do fit to window, that's 50%. Let's see if we can bump it up to 75. All right, that works. So now you can see that we've got an iPhone 6 Plus selected, and it takes your web application or website and it puts it into a mobile state so you can actually see what this is going to look like. And you can see that I've got my little round bubble cursor here. This is like a touch screen, so we can go ahead and click on the X up here. We've got the side menu. We've got different sections that we can go to, and it's going to load the content. And then down here, again, we can see that we've got a list of elements here that we can inspect to see what kind of style rules on it. So I can go ahead and click the selector tool again, select this first image, and then in a mobile state, we can see all the classes that are assigned to this. All right, and then over here in the styles, I know this is a little hard to see. Let me pull it up here. We can see all the style rules that are applied to this image. So pretty cool stuff. So that's how you work with Chrome. All right, and then I want to show you Firefox and Safari. So wherever your project is located, open up your project folder that we're working in. All right, and then go ahead and select the HTML file, and I want you to right click on it and then do an open with, and then I'm going to go ahead and select Firefox this time. All right, so now we've got our project in Firefox. So again, to inspect our element with Firefox, we're going to right click, click inspect element, and it's the same similar concept, okay? You've got your elements here on the left, and you've got your styles here on the right. So if I click on the container and I expand this, you can see again that we've got our header 1s and header 2s, and then over here on the right, we've got our style properties to it. All right, and then same thing with the header 2s. Now, we can also, again, click the arrow right here, and again, it's going to allow us to select different elements on our page, and we can select that, and it's going to jump to the element right here in our inspector, and we can view the style properties here on the right. And then it has a few other options here. So if we click this guy right here, this is going to tell us whether we want to position this inspector here on the right. We can go ahead and slap it down here on the bottom. And we've got an option to do the same thing that we did in Chrome and put this in a responsive design mode. All right, so move our inspector down, and we've got it over here. Now, what I want you to do is you can select this, and it's going to give you different dimension screens. All right, so I'm going to actually go back and create a mobile phone here. And then if we click this little hand here, this is going to allow us to click around our website. But again, why don't we go ahead and open up DevSlope's website so we can check it out in a mobile state. So right click, inspect element, and then come over to this responsive design mode. So we've got that pulled up again. And I'm going to make this a little smaller. Perfect. And then to navigate this, right now we can't click on anything. You see that? You got to click this little hand here. And it's weird because Firefox says that you might need to reload the page and refresh it, which I do every time. So go ahead and click it. I'm going to hit Command R, or you could go ahead and click the refresh button here. I'm refreshing the page, and now I can go ahead and I can click on it. So I can navigate my page in a mobile state. Alright, so very cool. We've covered that, and that is Firefox. Let's go ahead and close this. And let's check this out in Safari now. Safari is a little bit different. So again, go to your project folder, right click on the index file and do open with, and we're going to go ahead and select Safari this time. So come and click Safari. We've got it opened up here. Now if I right click, you'll notice that I don't have an inspect element here, right? We've only got these 4 options. To allow inspect element on Safari, come over and click the Safari, click preferences. We're going to come all the way over here, and then down here at the bottom it says show develop menu in menu bar. So when we click that, you'll see that we got a new tab up here on Safari called develop, and we can go ahead and close this. Now when I right click, I can now inspect the element. Alright, and same thing here. So we've got all of our elements nested inside here. We can expand them, highlight them. If we want to target a specific element, come over here to this little Safari scope target thing, and you can, go ahead and select elements, and it will bring you to the element here on your right. And let me come back here. Got off my element page. And then if we want, we can reposition this. Just click this right here. For the right side, you can click it. For the bottom, you can click this here and actually pop the inspector outside of the web page here, which I really like, especially if you're using 2 screens. You can pop out the inspector, throw this on your second screen so it's out of the way, and use it that way. So let's go ahead and dock this again. And then if we want to check out the mobile responsive design of this site, let's go ahead and open up a new tab. Again, I'm going to devslopes.com. And then this time, we're going to select the Develop tab here. We can come down and select Enter Responsive Design Mode, and there's a hotkey for that. So if we click this, I really like the way Apple set it up. It's very clean. You can select the different devices here, and then from here, you can go ahead and right click on it and then inspect the element. So we can go ahead and take the target tool and select an element in here, and it's going to highlight it here in our element inspector. That completes this lesson. We have learned how to use the inspector tools in Chrome, Firefox, and Safari, and you're going to be using this a lot, especially when working with CSS, when you have elements not being displayed properly or being positioned weird, and especially when you have style rules running in or messing with other style rules. So that's a wrap. Let's move on.